evening, or welcome to Total Dust. And today we're going to carry on our little thing we're doing of shotgunning. I love the Apex suit. It's funny, I've got a billion ISK, and I'm sat here actually using free suits. What a tightwad I must be, eh? I'm only doing it because I think my level of ability to kind of, I don't know, think about the game is low at the moment, and it has been for some time. It's because I and this is funnily enough, it's the reason they made Apex suits, so let me tell you why, was because sometimes you just want to kind of press a few buttons, get into a game, start shooting and see how it goes. And yes, you can set up suits, but you then have to manage those suits. I've got a load of shotgun suits that aren't great. They're okay. They're probably better than the Apex that I've got right here, but there is something very nice about just sort of picking up the game and playing it and then dropping it straight back down. And that's what we do. This is what gives the game longevity in my mind, because I don't want to sit here and theory craft fits. That's for others to do who are more serious about the game. I would much rather sit here and shoot dudes in the face with a shotgun that goes blap. So there we go. It's the million clone event, 5 million clone event going on at the moment. I'm told that it looks like we're on track to win. Surprise, surprise. I don't honestly think, I mean, call me a skeptical man. And I know, I mean, me skeptical, yeah, but call me a skeptical, Jesus, it's early and I'm drunk. I'm hungover from being drunk. I am not there. Anyway, call me skeptical. I would say that there's definitely going to be an achievement here that we will not fail. We will get 5 million by hook or crook. I could be being a bit kind of, trolly here, but I think even if we got 1 million, they'd tell us we got 5. You know what I mean? Because there's nothing worse than a game with a population that is, quote, dwindling, to have a 5 million clone event that we fail to meet, because that obviously looks bad on the game. So I think pretty much, well done, bros. You've already done it. Even when they announced it, the reality was you're going to do it, because they're not going to admit that you couldn't kill 5 million clones because there's not enough of you. So I think bearing that in mind, how did it feel for you, bro? I helped. I killed at least 17 people for you. So yeah, I contributed. I contributed in my own little way. But this is, yeah, I mean, it's nice that they do events, and don't get me wrong, I think it's great. But, and there's always a but nowadays. I suspect that they're running out of ideas slightly, because this is the 3rd million whatever clone event they've done. Does it inspire people to rush back and play the game? No, in my book, no. Does it make people want to go, kind of batshit crazy and go all out and raise their game beyond levels? Partially. So this is kind of, I did a David Cameron there, by the way. Don't know if you know who David Cameron is. He's our illustrious Prime Minister, and he does this wonderful thing when interviewed, which he asks his own questions now. And it's funny, actually. We should try and do that more. So it should be like, is Dust in a bit of a bad place? No. And it's like, I didn't even ask you that question. Anyway, what am I talking about? So basically, I think the game is still very much fun. I have a huge amount of fun playing the game still. I think the problem is, if I'm honest, is that it does come back still to there's just not enough people playing it. The variety is probably today's discussion. So we've talked before at length on record that there is a lot of issues with the way people play, and this is using pretty annoying tactics and so on. But I propose to you that there is now a further confounding problem that I think causes people to have problems with the game, which is the variety. The variety isn't there. For example, we played, generally when we play at least 4 or 5 rounds before we give up, and that number one is not good. Why do we give up? And if you do an analysis of this, 2 reasons. One is the aforementioned players stomping us, or players not even trying and therefore we stomp them, whatever. There's no contest there, so that's number one, primary, I would say. The secondary is the variety, and let me, I forgot that grenade, wow. Anyway, the second is the variety, and let me explain. The map rotation is number one. We sometimes end up getting ashlands for like 5 maps in a row. Sometimes we get that horrible one with the hangar in the middle, and we get that one just forever. Like, even if we change game mode, so we will just like queue up an ambush, domination skirmish, it will give us all three. And all three, it gives us that same map. So that's also very annoying. You then go on to things like it doesn't even matter, and I'm kind of articulating this in my brain as we do this, because I was about to say, so you got the number one is the players, number two is the variety, then the third piece that seems to only give us 3 matches, I think, is the fact that vehicles are never really part of the game. Does that make sense? Used to be before that somebody could bring in a tank, and if they were good, they would pretty much splash the map, and then you would have this kind of monumental a fight to try and kill them. Do you know what I mean? Those days seem to have long gone, and I think that's not a bad thing. I mean, tanks don't seem anywhere near as powerful as they once were, because swarms are ridiculous now. I've got prototype swarms on a suit, and I know that if I'm by a supply depot and a tank or a dropship even comes near me, I can switch into that suit within seconds, and then be basically swatting it away, saying shoot. And that's not good. I don't like that either. I think that's it's too easy. The swarms are too easy. There was a fear. I remember the fear we used to get, which would be tank, tank, tank. Oh my god, there's a tank. And that fear, the absolute kind of trouser wetting fear, was wonderful, because and post in the comments, do you remember that? I think that was the best part of the game, when all of a sudden you'd be like, oh, fuck, they've got a tank, oh my god, and you would then have to muster a group to try and take them on. To me, that is what the game should be doing much more of. And I think that's kind of the third point. So those 3 points, I think, in summary, in conclusion, Your Honour, make up what I consider to be a terrible aiming shotgun man, which is me, and just the reason why we can never really go more than 3 to 4 rounds before just sort of thinking, a bit bored now. Variety is probably the easiest one they could do. If they could just adjust the variety now, they might find that actually that would be a good way forward. So new content is always a great way to mix up variety, but my issue is, and this is kind of a further discussion point, and I guess this is for you to say if you agree or disagree on it, and this is almost like a 3.1 point, is the problem is, no matter what they add to the game, a lot of players never change from what they do. So they run one fit, and they have always run one fit, and that's it. It's the difference between a game, and here we go, I'm going to get trolled for this. To me, it's the difference between playing a game and trying to pretend this is esports. Okay, esports and all that stupid nonsense is based upon being the best at a particular field, and therefore dominating it. So every time you play the game, the only enjoyment you're getting is by dominating in a field, right? Whereas I am a normal human being who goes out and touches boobs, and therefore I understand that this is an entertainment. This is a game. We're playing this to have some fun. We have horrible, miserable lives in real life. All of us, even if you say I don't, no, I don't, I'm happy. No, you're not. You're not really, because if you play computer games, you're escaping from something. I'm kidding, but you see what I mean? It's like we play these things to relax and chill and take it easy and such. So because the game doesn't factor those two sides in, that's when it starts to get a bit problematic. I don't have a I do have a problem with electronic sports league people, or esports. I think if they want to do that, then awesome. But Dota and League of Legends are over there. Go on, help yourself. Go on, all yours. Those games were made for you. Just go and enjoy. Seriously, things like Dust, they're not really made. There's no leagues. There's no. There is a leaderboard, but it means jack shit really. There's no ability to kind of categorize who's better than who, etc. Really, it's more a case of this is an entertainment game based on the Counter-Strike series, which is like round-based game with basically a lot more focus on loadout, etc. So the game here is quite cool, but I think the problem is that there has spawned, because it's come from Eve, a desire to make the game dominated. So people want to dominate this game, and when I say dominate, what do you mean? Well, they want to make it so they have a miserable time as well as you. So they have a miserable time making your life miserable, if that makes any sense. And I think that's kind of fine. For me, I don't get it. I would only ever play games to relax. Yeah, my days of playing things like Eve I'm not going to say competitively because I never did, but seriously is maybe the right word, are gone. I will never do that again, because doing a YouTube channel means that you can't get invested in stuff as much as I would loved to have before, which is probably a good thing. But I think just secondly, I like the fact that some games are meant to be picked up and enjoyed, and things like H1Z1 and Elite are very serious games because there's a lot you can do there. But I would just say that actually they're kind of fun. You can play them casually, is what I'm saying. And this is where Dust, and so here now comes the rest of my defence, and we'll go and talk about titties and things like that in a minute. Is that the reason that most people cannot really last longer than 3 to 4 to 5 games is because of those things. It was the variety, it was the seriousness of players, and I think it was also the reason that some players don't even ever want to. They don't want to casually play. They want to just dominate and ruin your day, which again I understand. So these three things seem to be the reason why we can never last more than 3 or 4 games, which is sad, because I remember the days when we would play 20 odd rounds in a day. We would play from 6 till midnight. And those were good times. But now it's like, wow, okay, that was a shit round. I'm not motivated to play anymore. I'm going to go and play H1Z1 or whatever. And that seems to be the way that it's kind of going. But there we go. Post in the comments. Tell me what you think. Am I talking a load of horse watery piss flaps? If so, tell me. And I think, to be honest, I am only giving you my opinion. I'm not right. I'm just giving you what I see. And I think Dust is still a phenomenally fun game. If they could just take this game and just extend it slightly into a more PlanetSide 2 feel, it would have annihilated PlanetSide 2, because the gun game in this is very good compared to PlanetSide 2. The fittings and all that is very nice. I honestly think this could have been a huge leap forward for CCP if it had just, and I'm gonna stake my hat here now, if it had just been on the console or the PC, but stuck with. So none of this deciding and flim-flamming to say, we'll put it on PC now, or we'll put it on console now, or whatever. It should have just been, right, this game is destined for the PS4, for example. That's it. There's no more discussion. That is where it's going. It is going to be the PlanetSide 2 of the PS4, whatever. And if that had been the case, then fair enough. Because it looks like it is going to migrate to the PC, then oh well. My fear is that it's going to be lost on the PC. If you look at the PC, it has a phenomenal cadre of good shooters already. Borderlands 2 is your ultimate co-op kind of game, mission-based game. DayZ, H1Z1, these are your kind of open world roaming shooters. You then have just no end of things like PlanetSide 2 and Interstellar Marine, which isn't too bad. You've got a lot of shooters out there that I think will just absolutely muscle this into obscurity, unless it's brilliant. And that's the challenge CCP have. I think they can do it, don't get me wrong, but I think at the moment their focus is not really on Legion, it's not really on Dust. I think the focus is on sorting out Eve, because all of a sudden Eve had been the one trick pony, the game that actually had absolute control of the space online multiplayer online game, and now all of a sudden it's been completely shocked into second place by things like Elite. Things like Star Citizen are coming, and so on. And I think these are all games that just look new, fresh, clean, interesting, exciting, and so on. And they make Eve look like an old, kind of wrinkled, kind of gentleman's only club from the 1800s style game, which is also how it feels to play it. And I think when you see the crispness and the excitable of the other games, then you see what I'm on about. Oh my god, what a hangover that was. I hope you enjoyed it. Toodaloo.